And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm taking a look today at a game called The Agents for 2 to 5 players. As a disclaimer, I did a paid preview for this game when it was on Kickstarter, but now I'm taking a look at the final product, and that really has no bearing on my review, but just as an FYI. The Agents is a game in which you're playing secret agents. You're playing cards down, trying to manipulate those cards, but it has a very unique and clever mechanism where the card that you play affects both you and your opponent. Let me show you. Now there are 3 types of cards in the Agents. There are the agent cards themselves. I'll talk more about them. Then there are mission cards. And then there are point cards over here. Now this is what you're trying to get. You're going to establish a point card total 40 points, and whoever gets 40 points first is the winner. Now I should mention that all the cards in this game are plastic cards. That's going to bother some people. They might have sharp edges. It doesn't bother me. Actually, I kind of like the feel of plastic cards, but they are a little smooth and slippery because of that. Now each person is going to take a safe house and put that safe house between the players to their right and their left. So if I'm sitting between Joe and Bob, there's one safe house between me and Joe and one safe house between me and Bob. If you're playing against just one other player, you'll have 2 safe houses between the both of you. Now on your turn, you are going to have 2 actions that you can take on your turn. One of the actions is to add cards to your hand. Now you will start with a handful of cards, but you can buy more of these cards by spending points. You can pay 1 point to add an agent card to your hand, or you can pay 3 points to add a mission card to your hand, of which you only start with 1. You can also switch your missions out as the game progresses as a free action. Another action, and the action you'll probably do most of the time, is by playing an agent from your hand. This, for example, is the Gunner. The Gunner has a special ability: kill any agent in your other faction. So what I would do with this is when I put this out, I have the choice. I can either take the special action of the Gunner, adding the Gunner to one of the safe houses, or I can add the Gunner so that the arrows match up. Let's take a closer look here. You'll see the black arrows match up, but that gives my opponent the action which they must immediately take. Now on the first turn, I would gladly play this one for my opponent. He instantly can kill another agent in the other faction, but there is no agent in the other faction. My next agent I'm going to play is this agent here, who has no arrows on him. Basically, I can play him as a special card, which says turn any agent in any faction. So I could turn this one to the other side, or I could play him for 3 points. Well, that doesn't seem like a good card for me to play, because I would get 3 points, but my opponent would then turn the agent so the arrow's facing them. So maybe I'll look for some other card to play here. The Recruiter. This is a better card. Draw 2 agents from the agents deck. So I say, you know what? I want the points for that. So I take the 3 points, but when I play the 3 points for that card, my opponent then gets the action and draws 2 cards. At the end of my turn, I'm going to score points. I look at all the full arrows that are facing me. In this case, there's 1 full black arrow facing me. That gets me 2 victory points. If it was a halfway thing, if there was a black and white arrow, that would simply give me 1. If it was all white, it would give me 2. So the more arrows I have facing me, the more victory points I'm going to get on my turn. And that's basically what agents can do. There are agents that extract, which let you pull an agent up into your hand, or agents that let you move, which lets you move other people, or get rid of a mission that your opponent has. This is one that you play and it gives points to one person. Here's a hacker, where I can turn agents like I did before. And you can play them to either of the 2 factions, and the factions have a limit of 7 agents in each, and agents can die, in which case they're flipped over and become a corpse. But the big thing here is trying to get these missions done. Here's a mission, for example, that's called Bloodbath. For me to play this mission on one of the safe houses, I need to have at least 2 adjacent dead agents in this faction. If that's the case, I can play this mission out of my hand as a free thing, put it in front of this thing, and every turn I gain 3 points as long as that is still in effect. You can have 2 missions. Like, for example, here, you have no connected data tokens facing you in both of your factions. If that's the case, I will get 4 points every turn. So the game's going to go back and forth, and players' points are going to go up and up until one person gets the required number of points, and that person is the winner. Also included in this game is some commanders. These commanders are special cards that you can take one at the beginning, which gives you a special ability. Like, for example, you get an extra action every turn as long as you have 20 or less victory points. Here, buying agents and missions costs 1 point less. Each matching and completed data token rewards gives you an extra victory point. So these are cool things, and I always play with them. Agents is a fine game. It's really unique the way when you put the card down, it helps your opponent and it helps you. And that can lead to some agonizing decisions. Knowing you're going to help them, trying to help them as little as possible, like that first time, give them something that will not help them so much. There are different actions you can take, like I said, where you can play actions. One of the things you can do is you can use an action on a card that's already facing you. So when you give someone an agent, you have if it's like kill another agent, you have a chance for them to do a lot of damage if you give that to them. But you might want the points. So it's pretty tough. Now this game plays 2 to 5, although you're never going to play with more than 3 players, essentially. You're only ever playing with the 2 people next to you. And yes, granted, you can give some cards, a lot of the cards that have just the points or the thing, you can give to somebody else, and you'll likely give to somebody across the table because they're not directly affecting you. But I found that this game is absolutely best as a 2-player game. It is fast, it is furious, it starts out slowly. I don't know if I'm real keen on the idea of using cards for victory points. Tokens might have worked better because you're moving around so much, but because they're plastic, they can take a lot of damage. I think the missions are cool. I think this is a game it's so tactical. Just, what am I going to do with the cards that I have right now? I might have to spend points to buy more cards. How many points do I want to give up? I mean, almost every game I played in is very close. But at the end of the game, it's whoever played their cards a little bit better. Maybe the arrows are more important to get those extra points every turn, or the special abilities. A lot of neat concepts here, and it comes in a pretty compact package. Not the best package, these triple row boxes let the cards spill out, but there's expansions out for it that add more unique things. I believe it's on Kickstarter again right now for another edition of it. But I think it's a very good little game, The Agents.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!